Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our church here in Birmingham, our church in Tuscaloosa, and all of our folks online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Today, in honor of Asian American, and Pacific Islander Month, we are honoring the wisdom from these cultures, and we celebrate our multicultural spiritual community. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. Before we begin the prelude, note that it is the tune for our opening hymn, which we don't sing very often, if at all, so you might want to listen extra special close to the prelude this morning. Let it begin.
We unite in our differences in background and belief. We unite with gratitude and hope. Hope for a world of differences, hope for a world that honors difference. We unite in community with gratitude for difference. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please take a few moments to greet those around you, especially those you may not recognize, and folks online, please greet each other in the chat. Hi, everyone. Please rise and body your spirit and sing our opening hymn. Let's sing number 177 in the hardcover hymnal, please. Thank you.
Me
Hey, you all. We have a special Justice Minute today to celebrate our Share the Plate recipient for this month. So please help me welcome Janice Fountain, who is the Executive Director of the Yellowhammer Fund.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Julie. I'm the biggest Julie Conradi fan, so when I got the email, I was like, I'm coming back. And my staff was like, we'll go. And I was like, I'm going to have to take it from y'all again. So thank y'all so much for having me to ground myself in this space. I'm going to read something that I wrote first before I talk about the fund, if that's okay with everyone. You can't hear me. If it's okay with everyone, I'm going to start with something that I wrote and then talk about Yellowhammer Fund. Now, y'all were a lot louder 2 seconds ago singing. Is that okay with everyone? We speak in the theoretical on the graves of those who needed us to get it right long ago. We compromise where we must demand life and promise. What is life? Promise. We build that stage while we give this talk, the one that's going to get you to notice me before it's too late. But it feels too late. Like the sun has set and you've slung off your house shoes while we water our pillows and prepare our exhausted bodies for another day. I'm angry today. Not just for me, for my mama, for my daughter, for my people. God knows I have to use this anger. My body a glass overflowing, trying to rid itself of poison and convince me that we've had too much. Sit down, Janice. But it feels too late. Late like a fill-in that looks like a French manicure, like it's bad, but maybe we can fake it. Maybe we have to. Thank you for the laugh. Spent like the painting of our ancestor hunched over, sitting on the side of her bed, realizing that was a call to action, a cry that feels like my own. We are a choir, our screams, the chorus that must be silent because ain't nobody coming but my people carrying the bodies and the memories of those forgotten. Perhaps it's too late for us. Someone save this. Tell our daughters they're no one's martyr. Tell them they deserve sunflowers, safety. Tell them this world ain't their wrong to right. We have infinite wrongs to right. Maybe it's too late. Thank you. As Misty said, my name is Janice Fountain. I use she, her pronouns. I am Yellowhammer Fund's executive director, but I'm mostly a wanderer. I'm a bit of a writer. I'm a mama, a friend, a community member. If you're unfamiliar with Yellowhammer Fund, we're a 501c abortion advocacy and reproductive justice organization. In 2017, we were started by volunteers to get people out of state for late-term care. 2019, the state tried to implement an abortion ban. And the good thing that came out of that was not an abortion ban, but was an influx of resource. So we kind of were able to not only staff, but expand the work that we were doing around abortion access. When I came into this work, I was a person that needed an abortion, but I also needed food, I needed housing, and I was working about 50 hours a week around that time. And the fund, and I was organizing locally, and the fund was like, do you want to get paid for that organizing? I was like, paid? Okay. And so I got to come on as family justice organizer. But that was a pivotal part for the fund because what we acknowledged was there was no real way to do meaningful abortion work without making considerations for people's lived circumstances. I became ED after the overturn of Roe v. Wade. And not only did we overturn Roe, we put midwifery regulations in place. We limited what birth centers could do. We closed the safest OB units for Black women. And I say that a lot because people see abortion as this isolated topic and outside of maternal health, outside of reproductive health. And there's no way to have those conversations in isolation. We sued the Attorney General last year in March because of his threats. After the Dobbs decision, the Attorney General went on a news thing, and he said, well, those people that get folks out of state for care, we're going to criminalize them. I was like, oh, those people, oh, that's us. And very quickly, the Lawyering Project was like, do you want to sue him for that? And we were like, yes, where we put our name. And we won that lawsuit last year. We funded every single... We funded every single abortion ask since we won that lawsuit. We funded the first abortion within 15 minutes of winning. But what was interesting to me is there was a lot of reports around that time that said, hey, abortion is winning. There's more abortions now than ever. And I remember having had conversations with people in community that were saying, yeah, I got to my appointment, but now I'm unhoused because I spent the money for my rent to get to care. Or yes, I got to care, but now I don't have groceries. And so just thinking about what that means in real time, right? You get to your care, maybe that's celebratory. What does it mean to care about people beyond that, right? People are having abortions because they're already having certain life circumstances that lead them to needing that care. The fund outside of that, we have a legal fund because you shouldn't be criminalized for seeking care. So anyone in Alabama who's been criminalized for any pregnancy outcome, and Alabama has the highest rate of pregnancy criminalization. There's about 112 cases in the country. We hold about 54 of them. And most of those are in Etowah County, and that looks like being criminalized from anything from substance use to smoking marijuana around pregnancy, but also to anything like being criminalized because you're poor when you sought care. So we have a legal fund. We partner with Pregnancy Justice for that legal fund, but also Richard Rice Law Firm locally. So if you know Richard, say hey to him. And then we still have family justice, right? So we're still in communities having conversations, building relationships, because it's necessary to have real relationships, especially in this time where we're hyper-surveillanced. You can't have everything live online. Some of the necessary work is just being in community with people. We have folks that tell us all types of their business, like, oh, I'm talking to somebody's husband. I'm like, girl, that was too much information. But what do you need for your reproductive health care? And we got to that place of candid, honest conversations for really witnessing people where they were, acknowledging what they told us that they needed, but also realizing we might be like reproductive health, justice, or rights experts, but we're not experts of anybody's lived experiences. And our work has to center the people that we keep naming as most marginalized. If I get on a call and say, well, we know who's most impacted, and I say, oh, it's disabled people, but then I can't show you how I've made our work more accessible, then we still have work to do. So I appreciate you guys. I'm from the fund. If you have any questions, please reach out, or can I ask questions now? Or you can ask questions now. No? Just want to say no? No questions. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Brenda Lively, a member of the board. Please read the bottom of your connection card before you turn it in. We have lots of volunteer opportunities this week. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We are just glad you are here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today, we are sharing our plate with Yellowhammer Fund, who you just heard from. We appreciate your donations, either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information is found in the order of service in the lower right corner. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
Now we turn our minds and hearts toward one another, seeking to bring into our circle of concern all who need our love and support. Those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who have been wronged. Today we celebrate Jessica York's birthday, for those of you who know Jessica. And we also lift up Viana and her mom. We lift up Brenda's husband, David, who is recovering from back surgery. And we lift up Elizabeth Lindsay, the wife of Leland Lindsay, a longtime friend of the church who passed away recently. And we'll send out the funeral information in the church email tomorrow. We also celebrate that our beloved administrator, who had to go cliff diving this morning, is still alive. So we're grateful. Grateful for parachutes that open. For those of you online, please share your joys and sorrows in the chat and hold one another in love as you do every week. For those of you in person, please come forward and surround our vase and drop stones in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. I also lift up Daryl Smith's family, one of our CUPS Tuscaloosa members who passed away this last weekend. For our meditation this morning, in honor of the celebration we are doing today, I'm going to invite Adam, who leads our meditation group here in Birmingham, to give the meditation this morning. If you would like to join in a Buddhist meditation, they meet every Sunday at 11:30. Not
No?
on.
Should I touch things? That one doesn't work. Don't touch it. Okay. No, I got it. It's good. Hello. I'm Adam. The reading that I have selected today is from Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. He is a Vietnamese peace activist, nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize by Dr. King, and he founded the Plum Village tradition of Buddhism. So what we'll do is sort of the TikTok version of what we do downstairs. So I will settle us in, do a short reading, invite the Zen bell 3 times, invite the small bell 1 time, and that will close us out. So, mindfulness embraces whatever's going on without reactivity. So there won't be any noises or distractions during this meditation, but there will probably be sounds and life moving around you. But if you don't label them as distractions, then they will not distract you. So you might like to close your eyes and settle into your seat. Bring all of your attention to your breath without trying to control it. Observe it as it rises and subsides. Your breath is an anchor to the present moment, a bridge to reunite your dispersed mind and your body. Feel your points of contact with the seat, with the floor. Relax any tension in the muscles in your face, in your shoulders, in your legs. Continue closing your eyes and observing your breath as I read this passage from Thich Nhat Hanh. Whether this moment is happy or not depends on you. It's you who makes the moment happy, not the moment that makes you happy. With mindfulness, concentration, and insight, any moment can become a happy moment. Your quality of life depends on your awareness of all the conditions of happiness that are available to you now. You are alive. You have legs to walk. You have 2 wonderful eyes. You simply need to open them to enjoy the paradise of colors and forms all around you. Oysters at the bottom of the sea have never seen the bright blue of the sky in daylight or the majesty of the stars at night. They have never seen the ocean waves or heard the sound of the wind or the song of birds. And yet these wonders are available to us. Are you available to them? Mindfulness helps us arrive in the here and now and recognize the wonders of life that are right there, within us and around us. Happiness is not something that arrives in a package in the mail. Happiness does not fall out of the sky. Happiness is something we generate with mindfulness.
Good morning. I would love to invite the children and youth to come forward for a story.
When does the writing down your name and kind of when something ends?
Hello, friends.
Got there after church.
Scoot back just a little bit, make some room. Toot, toot, toot. Hello, hello. Hello, Kate. So, have any of you ever dropped something and broke it? Never. You've never broken anything ever? Like a toy, or maybe your favorite mug, or a bowl, or something? Yeah. You broke your monster truck? Oh my goodness. Oh, that's terrible. And how did that make you feel? How did you feel when you broke your monster truck? You don't know? Oh, okay. Well, sometimes you feel kind of sad when you break something you really love, right? Usually when things break, we think they're ruined. They're done. We might even want to just throw them in the trash. But in Japan, there's a tradition called kintsugi. When something breaks, instead of hiding the cracks, people fix it with gold. Yeah, hey, look, I have a picture. I'm gonna pass it around, don't you worry. Here you go, you guys can pass that one around. This is the same one, pass it that way. But so, instead of throwing it away or thinking that it's broken, they fill it with gold. They carefully put the pieces back together, and the cracks are filled with something bright and beautiful. So instead of pretending that the break never happened, they honor it. The cracks become a part of the story. The cracks aren't covered up, they're made beautiful. So I wonder, why would someone want to show the cracks instead of hiding them? What do you think? Because no one's perfect. Very insightful. That's very true. Any other ideas, friends? Why would you want to show those cracks? Okay, so kintsugi teaches us something really important, that broken things can still be beautiful. That in fact, sometimes they're even more beautiful because of what they've been through. The cracks tell that story. So let's get a little curious. What if we thought about people this way? All of us have had hard moments, right? We've had times when things are challenging. Sometimes we feel hurt, or we feel left out, or we've made a mistake because we're not perfect, right? All of us have cracks. And sometimes we hide those parts. Sometimes we feel embarrassed or ashamed. But what if instead of hiding those cracks and hiding those part of ourselves, we got curious about them? What if we could learn from those things? How could they help us grow? In our Unitarian Universalist community, we believe that every person has inherent worth and dignity, even the parts of us that feel cracked or broken. We value transformation, that growing and changing that we all do. We value the interdependence, helping each other heal. We value love being at the center of everything we do because we hold each other in care. Kintsugi is a lot like those values. It doesn't rush to throw something away. It takes time. It pays attention. It uses care and patience to make something whole again. And it says your story matters. So maybe we can think of ourselves like kintsugi art. Maybe our lives are filled with stories, some that are joyful, some that are hard, some that challenge us. And when we look at these stories, we might see those cracks are also places where light and love can shine through. Kind of cool, huh? So let's wonder together this week, what stories do our cracks tell about us? How can we treat ourselves and others with curiosity, compassion, and love? Because nothing about you needs to be hidden to be beautiful. The end. grown-ups, could you sing us downstairs for some community time?
In case you were wondering, my stole this morning was made with that kintsugi in mind by a colleague, Reverend Katie Nakamura Rengers, who is an Episcopal priest who has recently been assigned to Hawaii. So we will keep her in our prayers for such an awful assignment. 114 years ago, on April 15th, 1914, the RMS Titanic sunk in the Atlantic Ocean. Most people know some details about the Titanic's fateful voyage, although we don't know a lot of exact figures, but around 1,500 people died in its collision with that iceberg. What most people don't know is that there were 6 Chinese men who survived the sinking of the Titanic. Li Bing, Chang Chip, Chung Fu, Ling He, Wing Sung Fong, and Ah Lam were all sailors traveling to the Caribbean for work. Fong is the one whose story was popularized in the movie because he clung to a door for buoyancy before he was rescued from the frigid waters. And 4 of the other men were actually pulled onto the lifeboat with the owner of the Titanic himself. They all survived the Titanic's catastrophe. But unlike other survivors who were met with fanfare, open arms, support, and comfort when they arrived in New York City, these men were treated with suspicion. How did they survive when so many others did not? Western media claimed these men had disguised themselves or hidden in lifeboats or unfairly claimed spots in a rescue they didn't deserve. Claims which had no evidence whatsoever. Within a day of arriving in New York, less than 24 hours, they were placed aboard another ship and expelled from the country due to the Chinese Exclusion Act, a federal law severely restricting immigration to the United States. These 6 men were excluded, not only legally from the United States, but from the historical and narrative record of this tragedy. And only recently have their stories started coming to light, most recently in a documentary called The Six. Telling their stories is part of our values as Unitarian Universalists. The equity of believing that all humans should have a right to flourish. Our pluralism of deep respect for those of other religious traditions. Our calls to justice for those who have been mistreated. And recognizing our interdependence as a world community. It's especially important this year that we hear and remember these stories while so many groups are being marginalized and our Asian neighbors' stories are getting barely any attention at all. And they are, like many of our neighbors, going through a lot of similar attention. History reminds us of the cruel ways our government has treated these communities. From the Chinese Exclusion Act, the country's first mass deportation policy, to the internment camps of World War II, where over 120,000 Japanese Americans were forcibly moved to temporary assembly centers before being incarcerated in American concentration camps, where they worked for paltry wages, slept in communal rooms, were prevented from voting, and where over 2,000 died because of poor conditions and guard brutality. Sound familiar? And if you look at a map of where these camps were, I was a little astonished while researching this sermon because I thought there were only a couple of them, but they were all over the country, just like camps are today. This year, Japanese Americans are honoring 80 years since the liberation from the last of these camps, Tule Lake, in 1946, and we celebrate with them. And we remember that history repeats itself. And normally on this Sunday, I would invite folks to share their stories, people who share this identity, but it feels less safe to do so in these times. Although the invitation is always open if people want to share their stories. And it's incredibly complicated to use a term like Asian to refer to an incredibly diverse group of people who represents over half of the people in the world. So today's sermon is built specifically around Chinese, Korean, and Japanese narratives, especially the interwoven Buddhist, Taoist, Shinto, and Confucian sacred texts. We recognize that there is diversity of thought and practice among these gigantic groups as well. And how we go about learning about other cultures is important. For those of you who may not know, our oldest son, Stark, has been learning Mandarin Chinese for the last year. He is hoping that I will take him to China one day. Little does he know that the one time I've been to China, I lost 10 pounds in 5 days because I don't eat pork, and they eat a lot of pork. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. But it's so amazing to watch Stark learn Mandarin, and he is so incredibly proud of the progress that he's made. Recently, he spoke to our server at Red Pearl Restaurant across the street, and she was so delighted that he was even attempting to speak Mandarin. And she helped him along, of course. He told me today he thinks he can place his full order in Mandarin, so I'm excited to see if that'll work. As we try to understand people from other communities, learning a few words in their language, even imperfectly, is one of the easiest ways to show solidarity and that you care, especially in these times. And another way to practice cultural competency is to watch television produced in other countries as a way to examine common cultural norms, with the same caveats that I gave earlier, and recognizing that governments and media control what we're even able to access here, right? So there's lots of disclaimers, but that's the point. Sprinkled throughout the last year, I have been watching anime, period pieces, documentaries, reality competition shows, dating shows, and Korean, Japanese, and Chinese dramas, which are called K-dramas, J-dramas, and C-dramas for short, in case you all didn't know that. All of these are shows that are produced in these three countries. And some of them are very highbrow and very intellectual, and some are very lowbrow and make a lot of funny jokes. Some of them are very silly, and some of them are very sweet. And this sampling of shows provides a glimpse into other cultures. When we look at this and we watch things produced for other people, for their own people, not for us, we see a different lens. We see their cultures on their terms. This is not an interview. No one's getting questioned. There's no problematic requests. This is all on their terms. I watched enough to recognize I have a new favorite actress whose name is Park Eun-bin. And I was ready when a world-stopping new movie dropped on Netflix last fall. Some of you were not ready, and it transformed your lives too. It was called K-pop Demon Hunters. And that's controversial to even say from a pulpit, because there are lots of people who don't let their children watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm of the reasoning that if there are demons, we should be hunting them. So I'm good with it. So, and for those of you who are curious about my recommended shows, and I know some of you are going to ask after this service, just go to my professional Facebook page where I have the list with links to Netflix. Make it real easy for you. All right, so my top 10 takeaways from watching all of this Korean, Chinese, and Japanese TV over the past year. Number 1, masculinity is defined very differently. The ideal men are presented as fierce warriors, but they are gentle with women, with children, with elders, with anyone who needs their help. There is no toxic masculinity. Number 2, women are more than capable of saving the day. And in fact, in most of these shows, you will see that the heroine is the one doing all of the hard work. And frequently, women are the ones saving the men. And it's just a little different than we're used to seeing. Number 3, romance, courtship, and marriage expectations are incredibly different. And one of the things I've noticed through watching all of these shows is there will be a pivotal moment where someone is about to fall down and the love interest does this spin thing to catch them. I know who's watched the K-dramas in the room now because of who laughed. Because that's exactly what happens. And it's just this incredibly romantic moment. Number 4, respect for others is paramount. There are rules of engagement for battle, for romance, for everyday communication that showcases respect for other people. Number 5, the archetype of good versus evil is universal, and a hint of magic to the battle makes it more fun to watch. Number 6, don't be afraid to rebel. People discarding the rules of engagement do not deserve your loyalty. Work within the systems of oppression. And if that doesn't work, find another way. Number 7, impeccable manners must be cultivated. Not because of patriarchy, but because manners are a way of honoring everyone's personhood. Number 8, death is a natural part of life, and acknowledging the ancestors' presence is a daily part of spirituality. Number 9, finding the correct balance between tradition and modernity is key. And 10, resilience is built through suffering, not through avoiding it. Each of these values reflected in these shows are directly tied to their religious and cultural values, which you may or may not realize as you're watching these shows. And many of these values align with our Unitarian Universalist beliefs. Like our belief that ethical living is more important than any doctrine. Chapter 57 in the Tao Te Ching. The more restrictions and prohibitions there are, the poorer the people will be. Or, as we summarize in our communities, we believe in deeds, not creeds. Similarly, our belief in interdependence. Everything is part of the Tao, or part of Indra's net in Buddhism. We value the interdependent web, as we talked about last week for our flower communion. Another shared value is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. From the Metta Sutra in Buddhism, may all things be happy. May all beings be happy. May they live in safety and joy. And in Shinto, treating others with respect is directly tied to reverence for the kami, or the spirit world. Or in Unitarian Universalism, our values are centered in love, and our covenant is our respect to one another. Our value of pluralism is evident in communities who are syncretic like we are, believing that you can hold coexisting beliefs at the same time. You can be Shinto and Buddhist. You can be Unitarian Universalism and a lot of other things. From the Analects of Confucianism, Confucius said, "The superior man is in harmony, but does not follow the crowd. The inferior man follows the crowd, but is not in harmony." Harmony is more important than uniformity. And we live that out every day in our Sunday services and in our church community, which is why we say here that we are like-hearted, not like-minded. The last shared value I'll lift up here is both our greatest similarity and our most difficult challenge as people in community, which is ethical life is relational. We have duties to one another. We have shared responsibility. And ideal societies are simple and cooperative and non-coercive. But we Unitarian Universalists also have a fierce belief in rugged individualism, and those too often conflict within our communities. How do we respond to the needs of our community while maintaining our individual perspectives? Overall, we share many and appreciate many of the lessons and themes in Buddhism, Shinto, Confucianism, and Taoism because of our belief in pluralism. These lessons are our aims for everyday life, and recognizing that we have much more in common with our global neighbors than we have differences challenges us into greater cooperation with one another. This week, we have seen one of the pillars of our democracy fall. Our American value that everyone deserves representation. In these moments, by seeing our values in other places throughout the world, we recognize that we are not alone in our respect for human life, and this value of ours is older than our country. It is older than many of the religious traditions we grew up in. Stripping Black voters of their right to elect folks who share their values is yet another attack on the beautiful diversity of our country. Our beliefs are ancient, but their belief, the guiding belief that led to this decision, white Christian nationalism, is just as old. Just because they are currently winning does not mean they can change us. We cling to our values despite some humans exercising unbearable cruelty to others. We must hold on to our inner peace. We fan the flame alive because it will be up to us to relight the torch of democracy when all of this is over. Our Chinese, Korean, and Japanese friends are all fighting this battle of nationalism too, as are many countries around the world. Our Japanese friends are fighting this battle alongside with us right now, as they have a right-wing nationalist prime minister. And in spite of all that, we must look for joy. Our Korean friends gave us one of the greatest gifts of the past year to help us get through these difficult times. K-pop Demon Hunters. If you have not watched this movie, I don't care how old you are, you need to watch this movie. It is transformative. 3 K-pop stars unite their voices to build the Han Moon, a spiritual barrier to keep the demon world separate from the human world. And along the way, they argue about whether the spiritual songs they write to fight those demons should be full of hate and anger because they are so mad and the demons are so bad. And eventually they realize that the songs that hold the most power, that get them to build up that defense, that help them to protect one another, are the songs which unite their fans, which remind their fans of the love in the room. And that is where the power truly lies. This was a record-breaking film in every way. Lauded for its authentic reflection of Korean culture, K-pop Demon Hunters reminds us that we have to unite our voices for good. As they sing, and I won't, we are hunters' voices strong, slaying demons with our song, fix the world and make it right when the darkness finally meets the light. You know, together we're glowing, gonna be golden. Some of you are singing along to that, I know. We take heart, friends, because this is the year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology. And when I was first brought onto this analogy that I should talk about the fire horse, there was a lot of excitement around this. And I have to say, the more I researched, the less excited I became, but there is a caveat. So bear with me here. The fire horse in Chinese astrology only appears once every 60 years. And the last time the fire horse was here in the calendar was 1966, the year of the Chinese Cultural Revolution, a time of immense political and social change. And for my historians in the room, you're all thinking, oh my gosh, we don't want that. And I'm with you there. We do not want that kind of cultural revolution. But it was a time of immense political and social change. Xiaowen Zhao, a professor in Chinese studies, says this about the fire horse year. Rather than predicting disaster, traditional readings frame the fire horse as a year where heightened energy needs to be managed wisely, slowing down before making major decisions, staying grounded, cultivating emotional steadiness are key ways to navigate this year's momentum. The fire horse is a year of immense energy, but it is up to us to manage that energy in a positive direction. Surely we can cultivate these ancient sources to keep us grounded in the days ahead, and focusing our energies and our voices in the same direction will combine our strength. We center ourselves today with ancient and controversial wisdom. We fight ancient evil with the most powerful, most challenging source of energy known to humanity, the power of love. 3 quotes for these times. Hate at any point is a cancer that gnaws away at the vital center of your life. Hatred does not cease by hatred. Hatred ceases only by love. This is the eternal law. If hate could defeat evil in the world, we would have defeated evil a long time ago. That was Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the Buddha, and K-pop demon hunters. In these most challenging times, let us honor the humanity of others. Let us fight for justice against ancient evil, and let us cultivate loving kindness for our neighbor. In closing, to ground us, a short poem by Ibn Arabi, a 12th century Muslim scholar. Oh, marvel, a garden among the flames. My heart can take on any form. A meadow for gazelles, a cloister for monks, for the idols, sacred ground. Kaaba for the circling pilgrim. The tables of the Torah, the scrolls of the Quran. I profess the religion of love, wherever its caravan turns along its way. That is the belief. That is the faith I keep. May we stay grounded with the words of the wise ones of old. Amen, and blessed be.
Please rise and body your spirit to sing our closing hymn, number 1009 in the softcover hymnal. If you'd like to join the church this morning, please come forward during the hymn.
Very pleased to have 2 of the Melcher clan, Michael and Kayla, as the backup singers. We're going to teach this, and we're all going to sing it. So if you look at your page, you'll see there are 3 lines. There's the melody line, the descant, which is for the higher voices, and the drone, which is for the lower voices. And so we're going to sing each one separately, and if you think your voice fits in there, you practice that with us, and then we're going to put it all together and sing it until it feels really good. Okay? When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace.
Please check out your order of service and your connection card for upcoming events. For all of the following, please sign up on the connection card if you're interested. Right after church, please join our Cups community in a celebration of Beltane and May Day. There's a silent auction, kids games, dancing the maypole, and free treats. Faith in Action is here this evening at 5 p.m. to conclude the training while explaining and practicing the one-on-one organizing method. And even if you haven't participated in the other 2 training sessions, you are free to join us. Food is provided. Our new UU class is wrapping up this Wednesday. If you'd like to learn more about membership, join Reverend Julie and other leaders at 6 p.m. May 16th, we're hosting an overdose and addiction recovery symposium at the church, and registration is now open. Please share with your family and friends to learn more about how opioid and addiction affects our community. If you would like to share how addiction has impacted your life, please submit 2 to 3 paragraphs to Reverend Julie via email by this Tuesday. And lastly, the Justice Committee and Faith in Action have flyers on the table in the narthex about signing on to the petition to end Alabama's celebration of Confederate holidays. If you'd like to add your name, there's a QR code and a website to do that. Please return your connection card to the ushers at the end of service. And we have a special announcement. President Julie.
Good morning. Right, I wanted to let everyone know that the board is having our budget planning meeting this coming Saturday. Stewardship has been doing an incredible job reaching out to members and to get those pledges in, so let's give them a big round of applause because they've been doing a phenomenal job. Now, as of this morning, we are still about $50,000 of the dream budget we presented a few months ago. And a few thousand short of our pledges from last year. So last year, as many of you recall, we were not able to pay our UUA dues, which we very much want to fulfill this year. Last year, we were unable to give our staff raises, which we very much want to do this year. Also, due to the budget shortfall last year, there were some staff positions that were not fully funded that we absolutely will and must correct this year. With that, with what has been raised so far, that would put us in the very uncomfortable position of potentially having to decrease other staff salaries. But there is still time. If you have not pledged yet, there are forms on the round table in the narthex. Please take the time to fill one out and place it in the wooden box. I know the amazing things I know we can make up the difference and pay all of our employees what they are worth. And I know the amazing things this congregation can do together when the will is there. And to take a page from Reverend Julie's sermon, let's seal the honeymoon.
One more announcement before we extinguish the chalice. Reverend Julie just reminded me of a really important mobilization. There's several going on that I wanted to tell you guys about. So there are several mobilizations happening tomorrow to protest the SCOTUS decision disseminating voting rights. Most everything is happening in Montgomery at the State House at 2 o'clock. And we, myself and also Tracy Cron or Reverend Julie can answer questions after church if you guys have it. There's several of us going to each thing. But there's also, if you can't make Montgomery, there is a local one in Kelly Ingram Park at 1 p.m. Organized by Reverend Al Sharpton. We have the press release. We can give you guys more information. But tomorrow, 1 p.m. here, 2 p.m. in Montgomery. And Helen wants everyone to be reminded to make sure to call your legislators. They're going into an emergency session tomorrow to try to take away black votes. And on that solemn note, we will extinguish the chalice. In honor of the legacy of our ancestors, let us carry the flame forward as we extinguish the chalice. We shall overcome. When we can truly celebrate the diversity of contributions and talents offered by all people, we shall overcome hatred and prejudice and oppression. When we can truly extend our hand to one another in loving acceptance, we shall overcome the past that haunts us now. Living in peace and freedom, we shall overcome the wrongs that have happened and the debts left unpaid. Let us join together in that commitment to overcome. Let us say together, Amen.